Hi guys, you're welcome back again to my channel. If you're new here, I am Starla. Today I'm joined with
Mercy.
and they are my sisters. We are going to be checking out Candace Owen, a short history of slavery. I personally have seen this video, but I want to get their reaction from this video on what they have to say about this video because it's really an educative and very informative video. But if you're new to the channel, please make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get right into today's reaction.
Now for a brief history of slavery. Here's the first thing you need to know. Slavery was not invented by white people. It did not start in 1619 when the first slaves came to Jamestown. It existed before then. It did not start in 1492 when Columbus discovered the New World. In fact, when the intrepid explorer landed in the Bahamas, the native Taino tribe hoped that he would help them defeat their aggressive neighbors, the Caribs. The Caribs enslaved the Taino and, on occasion, served them for dinner. Slavery existed in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. The word slave actually comes from the Slavs of Eastern Europe. Millions of them, all white by the way, were captured and enslaved by Muslims in the 9th century and later by the Ottoman Turks.
Sorry guys for
Wait, wait.
Queen, prior to this time, do you think they were ever white slaves?
You don't need to ask me because I'm thrilled. Like I'm sure this is my first time asking
Because
you.
I'm asking her because she's a child and she's still little, she's still growing up. So me asking her is like getting her own, words, guys. I know you should know because you're all adults now. Yeah.
But I didn't know that there was a mass, slavery, like
Already in Africa.
no mass slavery, like in the whites, like the whites were enslaved massively like that because you heard the population that she said
Yeah.
now. In the Arab, like
Yeah.
oh my.
Slavery existed when the Roman Empire controlled the Mediterranean and most of Europe from the 1st through the 5th centuries. Slavery existed when Alexander the Great conquered Persia in the 4th century BC. It was so common that Aristotle simply considered it natural. The slave master model was just how the world operated in the great philosopher's day. Slavery existed during the time of the ancient Egyptians 5,000 years ago. As far back as we can go in human history, we find slavery. As renowned historian John Steele Gordon notes from time immemorial, slaves were a major item of commerce. As much as a third of the population of the ancient world was enslaved. Here's the second thing you need to know. White people were the first to formally put an end to slavery. In 1833, Britain was the first country in the history of the world to pass a Slavery Abolition Act. They were quickly followed by France, who in 1848 abolished slavery in her many colonies. Then, of course, came the 13th Amendment in the United States Constitution. After centuries of human slavery, white men led the world in putting an end to the abhorrent practice. That includes the 300,000 Union soldiers, overwhelmingly white, who died during the Civil War. Now, am I saying that this makes white people better than anyone else? Of course not. My purpose here is to simply tell the truth, and the truth is that human history is complicated. No one, regardless of skin color, stands guiltless. Yet today we are never told to consider the murderous Persian Empire or the cannibalism of indigenous tribes of North and South America or the heinous actions under the imperialistic Muslim, Chinese, Mongol, or Japanese empires, to name just a few. Instead, we're told that slavery is a white phenomenon.
Yeah.
And like all persistent lies, this lie spawns a bunch of other lies. On social media, I come across extraordinary depictions about how Africans lived like pharaohs before Europeans came and laid waste to their paradise. I wish any of this were true, but it's not. It's a fantasy. The truth is that Africans were sold into slavery by other Black Africans, and in many cases, sold for items as trivial as gin and mirrors. Whites didn't go into the interior and round up the natives. They waited on the coast for their Black partners to bring them Black bodies. The stark reality is that our lives had very little value to our ancestors. Here's the third thing you need to know. If you think slavery is a relic of the past, you're wrong. There are some 700,000 slaves in Africa today, right now. That's the lowest estimate that I could find. Other sources say there are many more. For context, that's almost twice as many slaves as were ever brought to the United States. Child soldiers, human trafficking, forced labor, these are the conditions that currently exist within the same sub-Saharan region where the transatlantic slave trade originated. African bodies are being sold today like they were sold then, and no, they are not being purchased by any country of white men. In fact, slavery, by any traditional definition, is exclusively practiced today within non-white countries. But we hear almost nothing about that. Just like we hear nothing about how slavery was universal until good people in Europe and America ended it 2 centuries ago. Why? Because our so-called leaders, black and white, wouldn't profit from it. Black victimhood is nothing if not profitable. It elects politicians and funds racial grievance groups. And if Black Americans began to view themselves as partners in the American dream, if we embraced the patriotic spirit that holds all men are created equal, the patriotic spirit that is our real heritage, then the race hustlers would soon be out of business. And who wants that? I'm Candace Owens, author of Blackout for Prager University. Thank you for watching this video. To keep PragerU videos free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation.
Why is she so intelligent?
Speak the truth.
Yeah, like so simple. I don't even have what to say because she has said everything.
Very precise and simple,
Simple,
straightforward.
straight to the point. And I want to beat on that part that she said that over here in Africa there's still slavery, like child labor. It's a common thing here. Somebody will have 8 children and then you disperse them to all your relatives, and you see these children going through hell in the name of helping the parents. Like, these are normal things that happen here in Africa and nobody is saying anything about it.
Yeah.
I'm getting to know that slavery didn't just start from the whites. Like,
You didn't just start from the white coming to
because
even from the beginning when he said native of I've forgotten
the 2 native tribes,
they were enslaving each other. Even
even here in Nigeria, we have the superior citizens and the inferior.
What do you have? Because I know this is so new to you.
Everything new. For the fact that white people that's why
Started
Slavery.
crazy.
And they're even the one that ended it, like in the long run.
Enslaved themselves, but nobody's saying anything about them.
Why would they say anything about
And the
it?
percent of slavery in Africa right now, and nobody is even trying to.
You or what's the word? Mafias that are in charge of selling these slaves. Like, they get them from their community and then sell them. Now, why can't the Africans talk about the chiefs? Talk about the leaders that sells these people out to the whites. Why do they focus more on the whites that are buying it? Because I can't just come into your community and then start taking your people if you don't give me consent to it. You understand?
Yeah.
Why don't they talk about it? Why do they always focus on the whites that comes back? And it's just so crazy because a lot is even happening in Nigeria. Even many countries they've developed, they've seen life, they're well exposed. We have everything. We have all the minerals. Let's take example of Congo. I think it's Democratic Republic of Congo, where they get the is it cobalt or what did they call it? Used to making gadgets. You see the kind of life these people live with everything they have, the resources they have. We're still poor. Who is doing it? Is it the white man that is coming to rule us? Even black that is still ruling black.
It's very annoying. It's really
It's annoying.
If a white man is involved, it will be like it's the white man.
Yeah, it's the white
man.
man.
It's difficult. But we are putting ourselves through this difficulty and it feels like it's normal.
Black eating black.
Yeah. So yeah. I know this is more like an information to say.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why I'm taking it so personal because it's just so glaring and so obvious. We get most of our sponsorship from these white people we talk most of the time about and bring them down. There's so many sponsorship they send here to African countries that don't even get to the people that need it. And then we still sit back and talk about them. That they stop enslaving the blacks, but we can't still develop on our own. Can't you see there's a problem from us? you see? It is just so obvious. Ah,
Guys, okay, we are getting really intense and really angry at
yeah.
the moment. Candice did a great job. She's really intelligent. She speaks facts unapologetically and very intelligently. This is just so straightforward, straight to the point.
Yeah.
You listen to this and you get all the message attached to them. Knowing there are still 700 people, thousands, sorry,
Thousands.
people still involved in slavery, including children. Come to the end of the
Okay.
video for today. Please let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. But this is more of an eye opener, and we did enjoy watching this as much as we got really furious. Thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to like, subscribe to the channel, guys. Bye.
Bye.
It's very annoying.
It's annoying.
Oh,
It's
I can see
crazy.
that. Just open my eyes, like it's really annoying. African.